Speaking of quarterbacks I don't like, we're going to go check out the Panthers versus the Chicago Bears, and Nick Foles is going to suck again this week because it's Nick Foles, and Trubisky will come in and save this franchise yet. Mark my words, it will happen. If Trubisky did what Nick Foles did last week, he would have been out of the game. That's a fact. Nick Foles has not been very good. He has not been better than what Mitch Trubisky's been. Nick Foles is not the answer people are looking for. Put Trubisky back in. That's all I'm saying. I definitely think we've seen Darnell Mooney become the number 2 wide receiver there in Chicago, replacing Anthony Miller. I think that's been all but done. Anthony Miller's sadly been phased out of game scripts unless the Bears find themselves down considerably in a matchup. I'm trying to think some of the other things here I'm looking at here. The Panthers can get undefeated since Christian McCaffrey's gone down. Mike Davis comes in there, steps in. Team doesn't miss a beat. Teddy Bridgewater gets going. Teddy Bridgewater is a top 5 quarterback right now. And Rodney Anderson has moved DJ Moore as a wide receiver too. Things are upside down in the Carolinas right now. And I don't know what to make of this team right now. At 3-2, they're tied for first with both the Bucs and the Saints. But not all 3-2 teams are created equally. What do you got for us, Jeff?
Well, and on Carolina's side, they as if their defense wasn't bad enough, they lost Kawan Short for the year, and then Brian Burns is in the concussion protocol. So
that's the one I'm watching right there. Brian Burns has absolutely wrecked some games this year. He's wrecked some plays. If he's healthy, he is a game wrecker. He's taken his game to the next level, and he's wreaked havoc on opposition there. So if Burns is out, this game changes drastically, in my opinion. Calvin, what do you got?
Yeah, I totally agree on that. I think this is my ugly game number 2 of the week. I think, we had number 1 earlier. This is number 2 because both defenses have actually been pretty good against the pass. Now, like you said, with those injuries, could that change things? It could. It's not going to change the fact that Nick Foles is a quarterback, though. So unless that's going to change and they somehow have somebody other than Trubisky who might be good, I don't expect them to do very well. I still think this is going to be a very ugly game. Yes, Teddy Bridgewater is top 5 quarterback. I probably had Bridgewater as high as anyone coming into the season. I was a big Teddy Bridgewater fan, thought very highly of him. He's been very good. This is not the week to start him. Chicago has allowed 4 passing touchdowns in 5 games this year. I'm looking elsewhere. Maybe Robbie Anderson is still going to be a high volume target guy. So I'm probably starting him. I don't know that I have a choice but to start DJ Moore in the leagues where I have him, but I'm just definitely not expecting a whole lot from him. On the other side, David Montgomery gets the roll of the dice and lands on the Carolina Panthers, and he is auto start this week. You saw last week, one of the reasons why Todd Gurley is where he is because he is one of the teams that got to face the Carolina Panthers so far. They have been unbelievably dreadful against the run, against everyone except for Kenyon Drake, and that's going to continue this week. I think this is a week where David Montgomery starts helping you after some difficult matchups. This is going to be one that is a lot easier, especially with those injuries there. That even makes me even more optimistic about what he can do for our fantasy teams coming into this week.
So I have an unhealthy amount of David Montgomery, like an unhealthy amount. And I've been sitting on it because I can't get rid of it. No one wants it. No one wants to trade for him. So I've been sitting. Luckily, I guess it's the best trades I've made are the trades I haven't made, so to speak. I think Teddy Bridgewater may surprise you this week going against that Bears team. I think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns here. I think he's going to continue doing what he's doing. Maybe not 3 touchdowns thrown, but he's going to have 3 touchdowns, whether it's in the passing game or rush for one here as well. this is probably more of a gut call than anything, but I think you're going to see DJ Moore continue to have success. He's like last week. He's going to bust off those plays. Mike Davis. I don't think Carolina's offense may be one of the best ones the Bears will see because of the weapons they have right now. And it's not as one-dimensional as it was with Christian McCaffrey. Now with Mike Davis, yeah, he does some of the things that Christian McCaffrey was doing, but now they're spreading that ball around a little bit. Rodney Anderson is we'll call it the wide receiver too, because that's what he was brought into. But really, he's been fantastic. And I think as ugly as this game is going to get, I think Teddy Bridgewater might have a QB1 type week under his belt here after it's all said and done.
Do you think he does better than Ryan Tannehill this week?
Ryan Tannehill against the Houston Texans or Teddy Bridgewater against oh boy. See, now the matchup definitely favors Tannehill. There's no doubt about that. The Houston Texans are a much better matchup. But I do believe in Teddy B. So I think it's going to be close. I really think it's going to be close, despite how much more difficult the Bears matchup is for him. But I also believe that they proved their point against the Bills last week, and I think they get right back to running the ball down Houston's throat. And game script is going to be Tannehill may get his 2 touchdowns thrown, but it's going to be a heavy, heavy dose of Derrick Henry. I think this game is going to be much closer. I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to throw the ball a lot more. So, yeah, I think Teddy is going to have a better game than Tannehill.
How strongly do you feel about that?
We'll see how strongly I feel about it in a little bit.
Okay.
I'll have to think about this one because, yeah, I definitely don't want to lose this week.
On the Bears side, how much does losing James Daniels, how much does that hurt David Montgomery? James Daniels tore his pec. He's done for the year.
Yeah, that's when we talk about that position in particular, that's one that we don't talk about enough in fantasy and how it affects everyone around, even how it's going to affect Nick Foles, right? Yeah. We're talking Nick Foles is going to have some adjustments here to make. And, yeah, they say next man up, but sometimes next man up is not a good thing, and I don't think this is a good situation for the Bears to be in. So I think this probably affects Nick Foles and his ability to get the ball out deeper. I think you're going to continue to see David Montgomery used in the short passing game, much like you seen last week. I think he had 10 receptions or something ridiculous. He was like one of the top RB1s last week, despite only having like 30 yards rushing, but he had 10 catches. So his numbers shot up and the touchdown. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards it probably has more of an effect on Foles than it does David Montgomery because we haven't really seen David Montgomery run the ball so far. What do you think, Alvin?
David Montgomery is my absolute must-start of the week. I mean, that's I think he is I think you start whatever running back is going against the Panthers, and he just draws that card this week. So, yes, I don't care who is hurt. I don't care, like to me, this isn't the game where that's going to matter for David Montgomery.
Or does it? How confident are you in David Montgomery?
Pretty confident.
Would you put a Big Mac on it? Confident?
I might. I think it's going to be a running back 1 this week for sure.
Oh, running back 1 this week against Carolina, eh?
No, not the running back 1.
No, top 12. Top 12. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You really should because there's like barely anyone playing this week. So he's got a really good chance at it if you think about it. We may circle back to that one. Jeff, you keeping track of these, eh? Speaking of teams that just can't buy a win, we're going to go quickly here to the